Hi, it's Sue with today's Bible reading for January 25th. I'm reading today Exodus 22 to 24 from the World English Bible. I want to reiterate that today's Bible reading series is about reading the Bible for the sake of reading it. It is not meant to be study. It does include commentary, and I invite you to give your commentary, whatever random thoughts you want to add in the comment section or email me, feel free. I welcome the discussion. But it is not about doctrine. It is not about really meant to be a teaching so much, even though sometimes I'll bring up principles and little aspects of the Bible to make my point with that usually is to help new Bible readers kind of get a grasp on what they're reading. There's some basic principles for reading the Bible that really help you understand it. But the broadcast is about getting through the whole Bible, getting a big picture of it, kind of remembering where things are, getting it sorted in your mind, getting a grasp of the stories, and just letting God speak to us personally through His Word, and to build our faith and to renew our mind. All the things that the Bible says it is to us. I believe the Bible's supernatural. I believe the Holy Spirit speaks through the Word of God, and I believe He speaks other ways as well, not only through this beautiful Word. So that's what the broadcast is about. Just to reiterate that I'm not trying to make it a teaching or a Bible study so much as just a Bible reading. I think people sometimes struggle. They want to read their Bible every day, and this is just a tool to make it easier and a little more fun, I think. All right, chapter 22, verse 1. If a man steals an ox or a sheep and kills it or sells it, he shall pay 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. If the thief is found breaking in and is struck so that he dies, there shall be no guilt of bloodshed for him. Wow. So you could kill somebody, a thief who breaks in, and be free from guilt. Interesting. If the sun has risen on him, he is guilty of bloodshed. He shall make restitution. If he has nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. If the stolen property is found in his hand alive, whether it is an ox, donkey, or sheep, he shall pay double. Now, a couple thoughts that came to mind with this. Some of our laws here in the U.S. are based on principles in the Word. Let's just put it that way. The other thought that came to mind was that these sheep, this is like stealing gold from them. I mean, this was their wealth, right? The wealth of a family was largely based on how much livestock they had, and I'm sure other things as well. But so this is pretty serious when they break in to steal livestock. It's a huge deal. Verse 5. If a man causes a field or vineyard to be eaten by letting his animal loose and it grazes another man's field, he shall make restitution from the best of his own field and from the best of his own vineyard. If fire breaks out and catches in thorns, so that the shocks of grain or the standing grain or the field are consumed, he who kindled the fire shall surely make restitution. And may I just stop and share another thought that came to mind? I just think this gives a little bit of setting, a little bit of perspective to what we're reading. And this is just my thoughts. Because remember when Abraham and Lot came to the land that God gave them, it was pretty vast. I haven't studied this. Go look it up for yourself if you want. But remember, they started running out of room for the two of them, but they only every once in a while ran into other people, other villages, I guess, or nomadic tribes, whatever they were. And so fast forward all the way to here with Moses and these millions of people that came out of Egypt, they had to make laws and some social boundaries because now they're crowded, right? Okay, I've got my livestock next to your vineyard. They had to start making some boundaries. What's that old adage? Good fences make good neighbors, right? So I think it's interesting that now that they're out there and they're interacting with each other all the time, new rules, new location, new situation, new rules. They had their own set of social structure back in Egypt, which is completely different. So now they're establishing their identity as a people and their society and their culture. They're reestablishing all this brand new here in the wilderness. Verse 6. If a fire breaks out and catches in thorns so that the shocks of grain or the standing grain of the field are consumed, he who kindled the fire shall surely make restitution. If a man delivers to his neighbor money or stuff to keep, and it is stolen out of the man's house, if the thief is found, he shall pay double. If the thief isn't found, then the master of the house shall come near to God to find out whether or not he has put his hand on the neighbor's goods. For every matter of trespass, whether it is for ox, for donkey, for sheep, for clothing, or for any kind of lost thing about which one says, "This is mine," the cause of both parties shall come before God. He whom God condemns shall pay double to his neighbor. Now notice, they're coming before God, not an earthly judge, not an earthly king, not yet. They'll get there. If a man delivers to his neighbor a donkey or an ox or a sheep or any animal to keep, and it dies or is injured or driven away, no man seeing it, the oath of Yahweh shall be between them both. He has not put his hand on his neighbor's goods, and its owner shall accept it, and he shall not make restitution. But if it is stolen from him, the one who stole shall make restitution to its owner. If it is torn in pieces, let him bring it for evidence. He shall not make good that which was torn. If a man borrows anything of his neighbor's, and it is injured or dies, its owner not being with it, he shall surely make restitution. That's why I don't like to borrow things from my neighbors, by the way. What if it breaks, right? If its owner is with it, he shall not make it good. If it is a leased thing, it came for its lease. If a man entices a virgin who isn't pledged to be married and lies with her, he shall surely pay a dowry for her to be his wife. If her father utterly refuses to give him to her, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. You shall not allow a sorceress to live. Whoever has sex with an animal shall surely be put to death. He who sacrifices to any god, except to Yahweh only, shall be utterly destroyed. You shall not wrong an alien or oppress him, for you were aliens in the land of Egypt. You shall not take advantage of any widow or fatherless child. If you take advantage of them at all, and they cry at all to me, I will surely hear their cry, and my wrath will grow hot, and I will kill you with the sword, and your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. If you lend money to any of my people with you who is poor, you shall not be to him as a creditor. You shall not charge him interest. If you take your neighbor's garment as collateral, you shall restore it to him before the sun goes down, for that is his only covering. It is his garment for his skin. What would he sleep in? It will happen when he cries to me that I will hear, for I am gracious. Wow. You shall not blaspheme God, nor curse a ruler of your people. You shall not delay to offer from your harvest and from the outflow of your presses. You shall give the firstborn of your sons to me. You shall do likewise with your cattle and with your sheep. It shall be with its mother 7 days, then on the 8th day you shall give it to me. You shall be holy men to me. Holy, set apart is what that means. You shall be holy men to me, therefore you shall not eat any meat that is torn by animals in the field. You shall cast it to the dogs. You shall not spread a false report. Don't join your hand with the wicked to be a malicious witness. You shall not follow a crowd to do evil. You shall not testify in court to side with a multitude to pervert justice. You shall not favor a poor man in his cause. If you meet your enemy's ox or his donkey going astray, you shall surely bring it back to him again. If you see the donkey of him who hates you fallen down under his burden, don't leave him. You shall surely help him with it. I'm not sure I was right about that, about not coming before an earthly judge or king, because, well, definitely not a king yet, but remember back a few chapters back when the people would come before Moses and then he delegated people to judge over them, to judge between them in civil cases. I guess civil and criminal. I'm just thinking out loud here. So that makes me curious. Obviously, I haven't been taught this yet, about this thing about bringing them before God. It's pretty interesting here. Verse 6, you shall not deny justice to your poor people in their lawsuits. Keep far from a false charge, and don't kill the innocent and righteous, for I will not justify the wicked. You shall take no bribe, for a bribe blinds those who have sight and perverts the words of the righteous. That's a great memory verse right there. You shall take no bribe, for a bribe blinds those who have sight and perverts the words of the righteous. You shall not oppress an alien, for you know the heart of an alien, since you were aliens in the land of Egypt. For 6 years you shall sow your land and gather in its increase. But the 7th year you shall let it rest and lie fallow, that the poor of your people may eat, and what they leave the animal of the field shall eat. In the same way you shall deal with your vineyard and with your olive grove. 6 days you shall do work, and on the 7th you shall rest, that your ox and your donkey may have rest, and the son of your servant and the alien may be refreshed. Be careful to do all things that I have said to you, and don't invoke the name of other gods, or even let them be heard out of your mouth. You shall observe a feast to me 3 times a year. You shall observe the feast of unleavened bread. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, as I command you, at the time appointed in the month of Abib. It's around April, by the way. For in it you came out of Egypt, and no one shall appear before me empty. And the feast of harvest, the first fruits of your labors, which you shall sow in the field, and the feast of ingathering, at the end of the year, when you gather in your labors out of the field. 3 times in the year all your males shall appear before the Lord Yahweh. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with unleavened bread. The fat of my feast shall not remain all night until the morning. You shall bring the first of the first fruits of your ground into the house of Yahweh your God. You shall not boil a young goat in its mother's milk. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you by the way and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. So nowadays when I read, I always take note when there's an angel or some kind of supernatural being present. So there's an angel. Pay attention to him and listen to his voice. Don't provoke him, for he will not pardon your disobedience, for my name is in him. But if you indeed listen to his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy to your enemies and an adversary to your adversaries. For my angel shall go before you and bring you into the Amorite, the Hittite, the Perizzite, the Canaanite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite, and I will cut them off. You shall not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor follow their practices, but you shall utterly overthrow them and demolish their pillars. You shall serve Yahweh your God, and he will bless your bread and your water, and will take sickness away from among you. No one will miscarry and be barren in your land. I will fulfill the number of your days. I will send my terror before you, and will confuse all the people to whom you come, and I will make all your enemies turn their backs to you. I will send the hornet before you, which will drive out the Hivite, the Canaanite, and the Hittite from before you. I will not drive them out before you in 1 year, lest the land become desolate, and the animals of the field multiply against you. Little by little I will drive them out from before you, until you have increased and inherit the land. I will set your border from the Red Sea even to the Sea of the Philistines, and from the wilderness to the river, for I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you shall drive them out before you. You shall make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. They shall not dwell in your land, lest they make you sin against me, for if you serve their gods, it will surely be a snare to you. He said to Moses, Come up to Yahweh, you and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship from a distance. Moses alone shall come near to Yahweh, but they shall not come near. The people shall not go up with him. Moses came and told the people all Yahweh's words and all the ordinances, and all the people answered with one voice and said, All the words which Yahweh has spoken we will do. Moses wrote all Yahweh's words, then rose up early in the morning and built an altar at the base of the mountain with 12 pillars for the 12 tribes of Israel. He sent young men of the children of Israel who offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of cattle to Yahweh. Moses took half the blood and put it in basins, and half the blood he sprinkled on the altar. He took the book of the covenant and read it in the hearing of the people, and they said, We will do all that Yahweh has said and be obedient. Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on people and said, Look, this is the blood of the covenant which Yahweh has made with you concerning all these words. Then Moses, Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel went up. They saw the God of Israel. Under his feet was like a paved work of sapphire stone, like the skies for clearness. He didn't lay a hand on the nobles of the children of Israel. They saw God and ate and drank. Boy, that's a powerful verse right there. They saw the God of Israel. And when it says they saw under his feet was like a paved work of sapphire stone, it makes me think they saw the throne of God, because that's a sapphire floor there, I believe. You can look that up. Check me. Verse 12. Yahweh said to Moses, "Come up to me on the mountain and stay here, and I will give you the stone tablets with the law and the commands that I have written, that you may teach them." Moses rose up with Joshua his servant, and Moses went up onto God's mountain. He said to the elders, "Wait here for us until we come again to you. Behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. Whoever is involved in a dispute can go to them." Moses went up on the mountain, and the cloud covered the mountain. Yahweh's glory settled on Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. The seventh day he called to Moses out of the middle of the cloud. The appearance of Yahweh's glory was like a devouring fire on the top of the mountain in the eyes of the children of Israel. Moses entered into the middle of the cloud and went up on the mountain. Moses was on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. And that's the end of today's reading. Oh, they're just too short. We get left hanging. Yeah, it makes you just want to turn the page and keep reading. But I'm going to stop right there. Thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to check the description for helpful links and information in the email to get your free one-year Bible. If you don't want one for you, just get one for a gift for somebody else. Till next time, God bless you.